I want to talk to you today a little bit about Chevy performance. We'll deal with Ford and Mopar another day and time. But I want to talk about Chevy. And a lot of times when individuals are building the vehicle, budgets are important. And so sometimes you're building a vehicle and you think performance starts at the LS level. And I just kind of want to backtrack, bring us back, and so that as you're building your cars at home, as you're coming to a builder and you're putting your project together, I don't want you to lose sight of the 350 engine. The 350 engine remains a key performance starter. Performance starts at the 350 level. 350 is very, very important still in the performance brand. Now, when you look at the 350, it depends on year, make, model, and all that. The difference between horsepower may be 100, 150 between the two. And so sometimes we have a weakened 350. We have maybe a boring 350 in our cars that needs to be awakened and radicalized, and we can put that back in and get some performance. You can get the 350 engine almost to 400 horsepower. You know, all things being equal. Now, I know there's some pro street guy out there saying, well, I got 900 in mind. We're talking about mainstream performance today. We're talking about restoring your classic car, restoring your classic truck, restoring your vintage vehicle, and you want to get some upgraded performance out of it. What I'm saying is I want you to reconsider the 350. I know everyone has a 350, and the 350 is all about, but listen, it's a legend for a reason. It packs a big punch in a little body, and there's nothing like the small block Chevy. It gets you on out of there, gets you out of the hole, so I think it's good. I think it's a good package. Now, if I was pushing that 350, and especially if you're on a budget, I'm going to recommend you push it with a 350. 350 with a 350. And if you want that tension in the engine throughout your driving experience, you want it revved up, then you can put your 350 with it. But if you're going to drive, say, from Houston to Dallas, from Houston to San Antonio, or you're going to drive the coast with some other individuals, and you can't stop at a gas station every 20 minutes, so then I would recommend you push it with a 700 R4. Get your 700 R4. It's going to get you some overdrive. It's going to drop down. That's the setup that is proven. That's a solid setup. All things being equal, you can get you a performance. Now, we're not talking about just a regular 350. We're talking about a performance crate 350. You can get that under $6,000. And then you get you a solid 350, 700R transmission to go with it, and depends on where you buy it from. But again, you're talking about, for the most part, under $2,000 for the transmission. That's a heck of a way to go. And I just want to advise you, don't give up on the 350. Some of the hardest sales I have is when I'm talking to individuals that are on a budget, that want performance, and I mention 350, and they go, oh no, I said performance. 350 remains the starting point for Chevy performance. All right, now all things being equal, you say, I want something different. Because remember, when we're building cars, we're building them to our personality. Where the car, every vehicle out there has its own brand. I'll say it again. Every classic car, every aftermarket car that has aftermarket parts, it has its own brand. It has its own fabric, its own touch, its own feel. And so I get it. And so I can understand the brand and the importance of saying, you know what, I want to know, and I want this car to be branded as a performance vehicle, because everybody has a 350. Then I agree with you. Come on up to the 383 Scroller. So this right here looks just like that block, because it's the same block. The 383 Scroller is nothing but the small block Chevy. It is the 350. You just change the crank and a few other components, and it increases the power dramatically. So you can find a 350 engine that puts out 200 and something horsepower. You can find a 350 engine that puts out 375, 380 horsepower if it's a high-end performance. But you're not going to find a 383 Scroller that puts out less than 400 horsepower. So when you know you have a 383 Scroller, and the market knows you have a 383 Scroller, what ends up happening is everyone is aware that you got a performance vehicle. You have a performance truck, you have a performance car, but listen, you got to have the money to climb up to 383 Scroller. It's just a little bit more money. And it's just like building a house. If you're building a house, and you say, do you want carpet or do you want tile? When you're building a house, every $2 here and $3 there is the difference between a home that costs $200,000 and a home that costs $350,000. You know, do you want the pool rounded? Do you want the pool just, 2 feet longer? Well, at 2 feet longer is going to cost you. So the 383 stroker on the surface is not much more money than the 350 engine. But here, if you're on a budget, this is what I recommend. Get the 350 engine, put the 350 transmission or the 700 R4 with that engine. Go ahead and upgrade all the accessories. You want HEI distributor going on in there. You want either a Holley or an Edelbrock carburetor. If you're not too good at setting carburetors, then get you an Edelbrock. But if you want to climb a little bit more, get you a fast system. Just, if you're on a budget, just really work on that 350 and fill it out as much as you can. Now, if you have a little bit more discretionary income or a little bit more will to spend a little bit more money on performance, you want to come in the big boy world, then, hey, man, it started right here. We through with the 350 now. It started right here at 383 stroker. Now, you're talking about 470 pounds of torque, the ones we put out, almost 480 pounds of torque, and you're talking about 430, 440 horsepower. I mean, you could take the LS, and all things being equal, you give me this bad boy here, let me put a fast system on it. Now, you can push this with a 350 or 700 R4. I don't really recommend that. Now, if the budget is there again, and we got to talk about some budget issues, because you can always change the transmission, then we're going to start out with a 350 in here. We're going to start out with a 700 R4 in here. But if we're sitting down and you let me build you a plan, I want a 4L70 on here. 4L70E, electronic transmission on the back. I definitely want to put some headers on here. I want to put a fast system on here. Now, when you give me that, and I'm going to get immediate throttle response, of course, HEI and all that's understood. I'm going to get immediate throttle response, and you pull up beside of me in your LS, all things being equal, I'm going to deal with you with this 383 stroker. So, in the 383 stroker, we're still running here. This is the LS, where everybody's running to LS. Everybody wants an LS. Everybody wants an LS. And you have to find out and choose you a builder that's going to sit down with you to help you find out what you're trying to accomplish and what's the best bang for the buck that you have. And my team here at City Classic Cars is experienced at it. One of my specialists, Carol, she's been taught, she's been trained, she's pretty darn good, man. You give her a call, 832-717-0774. She can talk LS, she can talk 383 stroker. She can get you going in the right direction. And if Carol's not available, there's another young lady by the name of Celeste. Boy, she get on that phone, she gonna talk it too. So you give us a call, we can talk engines all day, every day. So again, 350, if you're on the budget, don't even think about anything beyond 350. If you want to climb the ladder a little bit, let's go 383 stroker. Now, when will I go with an LS? See, if you're not going to do anything to this LS and you're not going to increase the power of the LS, I'd save me about $3,000 and I'll get me a 383 stroker, because it's going to give me a great amount of torque, a great amount of power. If you're going to buy the base model LS3 and not the higher end performance LS3s, I think the high-end 383 stroker is a pretty good wrestling match. Now, here's the other thing. If you do not like the modern fuel injection, then you certainly want to go 383 stroker. You can put your carburetor on there and keep the 383 stroker. I will go there. Now, the beauty of the LS, if you're not going to drive your car much, if you're only going to drive your car about once every 4 months, all you want an LS. You do not want a carbureted system. You do not want anything less than an LS, but you got to have the money. You have to have the budget. So we're talking about LS3 with the Cruise and Connect package, 4L60E transmission on the back. Man, you're already at 20. So I mean, that's a before we do anything, before we pull the old one out, before we clean up the firewall, clean up the engine bay, you already at 20. Before we add oil and coolant, before we get you a new radiator, because you can't go with the same radiator, you're already at 20. Before we do any labor, and you're talking about probably, all things being equal, probably 50 to 60 hours to put this baby in, you're already at 20. So if you're not ready to go all in on performance, stay away from it. Because even if you're saying that the LS is only $3,000 $3,000 or $4,000 more than the 383 struggle. Well, we're going to get you when we put it in, because this is going to take almost 3 times the amount of time to put in versus that. Definitely double. So when you factor all that in, that's not ideally the way to go. So but the LS3 is a great package for individuals who want something reliable, who are not going to drive their cars that often. You cannot drive for 3 months. As long as the gas is good, you go in there, you crank that sucker up, and it's good to go. You're not going to have any failed systems. You got a carburetor like we got on this 350. You don't drive it in 4 or 5 months. You're going to need a new carburetor. You might need a new fuel pump. You know, it's just the way the antiquated systems are designed. So you want to find a builder who can sit down and talk to you about application and about usage and just kind of give you some options. It's ultimately your decision. You're the CEO of every build at my shop. I just work for you. You the man, you the woman, you're the family. You're the ones who are in charge. You're the president, you're chairman of the board, you're the CEO of your project. And I'm just the hired help, the hired expert, if you will, to give you some opinions. All right, the other one that sometimes we forget about, this is the LS1. Now, one of the benefits of the LS1, all of these LS platforms, you can increase the power. They're just templates. And you can take this LS and you can expand it and expand it and expand it and expand it and expand it, and your horsepower can get infinitely crazy. But one of the benefits of the LS1 is, especially on some of the classic cars, you can keep your old gas pedal. And for some individuals, that aspect of keeping that component original is cool. But this is electronic. So the throttle cable on these, just some quick changes, that's going to be a big difference. Now, the electronic throttle cable, in my opinion, is going to be a lot more responsive. However, if you want to keep that old pedal, then you want to go LS1 and build it up. So now you say, well, what else can I do? I got the money, man. I got the money. I'm the man. I want something nobody else has. When I roll up, I don't want to be like the rest of them. I don't want to part with the 350 people. I don't even want to park next to the 383 people. I don't even want to be in a circle where the LS3 crowd is. I want to be over there big boy style, all by myself. I want to get out there and see that McLaren come up on me, and see that Porsche come up on me, and somebody in their vet come up on me, and I want to be in a 72 Chevy, just sitting there like I'm nobody. And I want to line it up at the red light, and I just want to get them. Well, you probably want to step up to something like LS9. And now this engine, just the engine, nothing else. We're not even talking about the time to put it in, just the engine. We're talking about 26 grand. So we're talking about $26,000 just for the engine. Going back to your old 350 now. All things being equal, I can get your transmission, engine, intake, everything, turnkey operation with a front runner system, vintage air. You probably get everything, all the parts, less than $12,000. You know, just so you have to really consider what it is you want to do. My ego gets checked at the door when I come in here every morning. I don't have to build a LS9 to be somebody. My job is to help you build your dream car within your budget. There's no need for me to tell you to do LS9. If we get there, you can't afford to end. Years ago, I won't go too specific in the car, but we had we're doing a Coyote with an Eaton supercharger. You're talking about almost $30,000. I mean, and Art Marson frames with all the bells and whistles. So just in the powertrain and chassis, you're talking about almost 60 grand. And it's hard to have that kind of staying power. And we haven't done any work. That's just 2 systems. And that can be expensive. So I want you to give us a call. Let us sit down with you. Listen, I don't charge you for your telephone calls. I don't charge you. Maybe we need to start charging. I don't charge you to come in and talk with the staff and we go over things with you. I'm here to help classic car enthusiasts. That's what I'm about. You know, I work with SEMA. I volunteer with SEMA. I'm on the RMO board. I don't get paid. And I do that just to help my industry. And I do this to talk about engines because I want to help classic car enthusiasts have more bang for their buck. And I don't want to oversell you, and I certainly don't want to undersell you performance when you want more. Give me a call, 832-717-0774. God bless you. Have a great day.